Hey there, welcome back. Today I am going to be answering your questions. A while ago I asked you all to comment your questions of things you would like me to answer, things that you were curious about, and I appreciate your patience with me because it has taken me a little while to get around to recording this video. I sat down to do it once a while ago and just wasn't in the right mindset. I definitely have to be in the right mood and the right energy level to sit down and do a more personal video like this where I'll be sharing a lot about myself and being a little more vulnerable. So I wanted to wait until I was in the right vibe to just sit down with you and have a cozy little chat and answer your questions. So I think today is the day. And you all did submit quite a few questions. I have them written here in my notebook and it covers 2 pages. So I may end up doing this video in 2 parts because you all know me. I like to ramble. I like to take my time. And so I don't want to rush through these questions. I'm going to be as rambly and slow as I feel like, and if that means this video has to be 2 parts or a series, we'll just go with that. We'll see how far we get today and what seems like a good place maybe to wrap up, and then we can continue on another day. So I'm just playing it by ear today. So thank you for being here with me and allowing me the space to do this and for being interested in what I have to say about things. And before we dive in, the one other thing I wanted to mention was that I thought it would be really appropriate to film and upload this video this week because this week is the 3-year anniversary of Quiet Comfort ASMR. I uploaded my first video to this channel on October 12th, 2020. So it's been 3 years of me sharing myself with you and hopefully creating some relaxation and cozy feelings for you. For the first year or so, I didn't even have this microphone. I just recorded my videos directly into my iPhone. So if you go back and look at my older videos from that first year, there's some good lo-fi stuff in there if you like that sort of thing. And if you're newer to the channel, I would encourage you to go back and check out some of the older videos. I have a lot of playlists. I've gone through a lot of phases and themes on this channel of different things I've done videos about, and it's been quite a journey for me. I'm a lot more confident than I was in the beginning, that's for sure. I've overcome a lot of my fears of sharing myself and putting my creations out there in the world, and it's just been a pretty cool ride to create these videos and make a space here where we can all hang out together and relax and be ourselves and have a little break of quiet comfort from the stresses of the world. So welcome. If you are new here, my name is Devin, if this is your first time watching, and I'm really glad that we're here together. So I am going to get into these questions. I did bring a pen with me so that I can check off the questions as I answer them to help keep myself organized here. And the questions sort of fell into a few different categories. So I organized them as such. And first we have questions that are sort of demographic, sort of factual questions about me. And then some questions about favorites and things that I enjoy in different parts of life. And then there were kind of some philosophical, bigger picture questions about life advice and things like that. So I thought I would save those until the end. So we may not get to those today. That might be a separate video. We'll see. And because I'm already distracting us with different things, I did want to point out my new cool hawk sweatshirt that I am wearing that I bought at a fall festival over the weekend, and I really love it, and I thought it might make some good fabric sounds, so maybe we'll do a little more of that in a future video. But I like my hawk, and I like the yellow color of this hoodie, and it's very cozy, so I'm excited to have it and to be very comfy with you as I answer these questions. So, the very first question is, are you married? So, if you are new to the channel, you may not know the answer to this question. If you've been with me for a while, then you probably know that yes, I am married. I have been married to my husband, Justin, for 21 years. And I've talked about Justin a good bit on this channel, especially over the last 6 months or so. I've shared a lot about his diagnosis of bipolar 1 and our mental health journey and a lot of our experiences that we've been navigating together over this last period of time. And so if you're interested in learning more about our relationship and about that story, I'll link to my playlist of mental health updates. But yes, I am married. The second question is related. How did you and your husband meet? We met in college. He was a first-year student, a freshman, and I was a sophomore, a second-year student. And we crossed paths a few times during the first semester of that year. We kind of traveled in the same circles of art, theater, music, English major type people. And so we met each other through mutual friends and kind of knew who each other were. But when we really got to know each other was in January of 1999. Yes, that long ago. And our college had a J term, which was a little mini term between the fall and the spring semesters, where you could take one class, and it was just one class that you took every day for that 3-week period. And they were usually kind of specialty classes, some kind of special project type endeavor. And that year, he and I both took a J-term class, which was a theater class, where we put on a production of the musical Into the Woods and did it all within those 3 weeks, and then put on the production at the end of the J-term. So Justin was in the orchestra playing bass, that's his main instrument, and I was the assistant to the director, so I was going around with my notebook and my pen, some things never change, organizing the rehearsals and helping the director with all the logistical things of the production. And so all of us who were involved in that were spending a lot of time together at all of the rehearsals, and I just ended up getting to know Justin better. We ended up connecting and talking, and it was a really unseasonably warm January that year. So Justin and I ended up taking a lot of walks in the evenings at night. After we would finish with rehearsals, we would walk around campus together and got into these long, deep conversations, and that's when we first fell in love. So, like I said, that was in January of 1999. We officially started dating in February of that year, and we have been together ever since. So, it's quite a lovely little love story, I think. Okay, so I will check that one off. I realized I didn't check off the first one. I'm already not keeping up with my system here, and I want you to hear these lovely check mark sounds as an extra little trigger. Question number 3, do you have any pets? Yes, I currently have one dog named Hazel, who is an Australian cattle dog, a red heeler, pit bull mix. She's kind of a mutt, and she is 12 years old. We adopted her through a rescue organization, and she came to us here in New England all the way from Houston, Texas. And so she's a pretty amazing rescue dog story, and we love her so much. She is so sweet and has the kindest disposition, and you will see her here and there in some of my videos. And I also have a specific video of her and my cat, who is my current other pet, my cat named Yorichi. She is a black cat, and she is named after a character in the manga anime Bleach, if you're familiar with that story and those characters. There is a character named Yorichi who is a very cool female fighter, and she also sometimes takes the form of a black cat. Yorichi means Night One, and so we thought that was a perfect name for our black cat. We've had Yorichi for, I guess, almost 4 years, so they are our current pet lineup. We also do have one fish. I shouldn't neglect to mention him. We have a large fish tank where we used to have a lot of fish, and over the years their numbers kind of dwindled until we just have this one really large algae eater, a Gibloceps pleco, I think is their technical name, and he has grown quite large because he's the only thing in the tank, and we've had him, gosh, for over 10 years, so he's a very healthy fish, and his name is B.A., named for B.A. Baracus, who was Mr. T's character in the A-Team television series. So those are our current pets, and in the past we have fostered some other dogs. We have had other cats in the past. We once fostered a parrot for a while. We had a budgie early on in our relationship named Aya, a beautiful yellow parakeet. So we have had quite a number of pets in our life, and now we just have one cat, one dog, one fish, and that seems like a pretty good place to be. So I will link to that video I did a while back with Hazel and Yorichi because it's pretty cute, and you can keep an eye out for Hazel cameos in quite a few of my videos, especially the outdoor garden ones. I will give several check marks to each question just so that we know they're complete. Question 4. What do you do besides being an ASMRtist? Well, I assume this question means for a living, and the answer to that question is that for about 20 years I worked for nonprofit organizations doing fundraising and communication and administrative work. I worked for mostly education-related nonprofits, and I really, really loved that work. I loved working for a mission that I believed in, and unfortunately, though, I didn't really have very good boundaries around my work. I let myself get really stressed out. I didn't rest and take enough breaks. I always pushed myself really hard, and so eventually I did get to a place where I kind of burnt out from that career. So almost 5 years ago now, I left my original professional career and took a little break to figure out what I wanted to do next, and did some creative things, including creating this channel during that time. And then I have just completed a 2-year training program to become a wellness coach with a focus on Ayurveda. So I am getting ready to launch my coaching business and work for myself and be independent in that way. And I did end up kind of delaying the launch of my business because of everything that happened with Justin and his health over the last 6 months. But I am excited to get that going in 2024. And I'm taking a course right now, a somatic and embodied healing training course, which I think will add a lot to my skills and is kind of helping me hone in on exactly what I want to offer. So more to come on that, but I am going to say that I am a wellness coach because, as I said, I've kind of gotten a few false starts with that, and it has been a little discouraging. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to say that I am a wellness coach. And I will definitely be sharing on this channel about what I'm doing and what I'm offering as far as that goes once I get more going with it. So stay tuned for that in the new year. Question 5. Do you speak any other languages? And which ones would you like to learn? Well, unfortunately, I do not speak any other languages, and I wish that I did. When I was in high school, I took Latin, which was fun and very interesting, and definitely was beneficial to me in my understanding of the English language and of language in general. I took Latin because in my high school, the Latin teacher was the best teacher of all of the language teachers, and I wanted to take class with her. I actually took 3 years of Latin in high school, but that didn't really leave me with a spoken language that I could use day to day in real life. So that is kind of a life goal item for me. We have some questions regarding that sort of thing later, that I would like to get at least a little bit proficient in some other language. And I think that Spanish would be really fun and probably the most practical and the most usable. I have dabbled in doing Spanish. I've done Duolingo, and Justin took several years of Spanish in high school and in college, so he's pretty good. He's got a pretty good basic level of Spanish, and so he and I go through phases where we work on it together. And I have a wonderful friend who is a Spanish professor, and so I get to take advantage of her expertise. So that's something that I would like to spend some more time on in the future. When I studied abroad in Ireland, I also took a little bit of Irish, which was so fascinating and such a beautiful language. So that's something that maybe I'll dabble more again in as well. And I love languages, I love words, and so I hope that maybe in this next stage of my life I can broaden my language horizons a little bit. So if any of you all have experiences with how you've learned languages, at a later stage of life, I would love to hear how you went about doing that. I would love any and all advice and stories about that because I find it very interesting. Okay. All right, so now we'll get into some questions about my favorites and my likes and my preferences about things. And these kinds of questions are always hard for me because I have a lot of likes. I have very broad tastes and interests. So I'm going to do my best to just answer these with whatever comes to my head in this moment, and to know that this video does not have to be the dissertation of my life. I do not have to talk about every single possible answer to all of these questions. I will just give you a little taste of the things that I enjoy in each of these categories. So the next question is, who are your favorite ASMR creators at the moment? Well, I love to listen to a lot of different ASMR creators. I love to experiment with trying new channels and see who I like. But right now I'm kind of in a classic mode where I have been listening to some of the creators that I have loved the most over the years. So the first person who comes to mind is skyeASMR. She is one of my absolute favorites. She is just so kind and gentle and creates such a caring, loving atmosphere on her channel. And she's so skilled. Her triggers and tingle abilities are unmatched, and she does these amazing Foley videos with layered sounds where it's almost like sound effects that she does, and I can't even imagine the amount of time and effort that goes into videos like that, and she executes them so flawlessly, and plus she's just a very sweet person. And so skyeASMR is one of my absolute favorites. If you don't know her, definitely check her out. I will link to all of these channels in the comments. The next person that comes to mind is PARISASMR, who was the very, very first ASMR creator I ever listened to. He introduced me to the whole genre and helped me to know that ASMR was even a thing, and that these tingly feelings I had had throughout my life were actually a thing that people were making videos to try to bring up for people. And these days he does most of his videos in French, which I enjoy listening to because for me, listening to ASMR in a language I don't speak is very tingly, and sometimes it's nice to just zone out and not know what the person is saying. And PARISASMR, he just brings such joy to his videos. I mean, he's been doing this for quite a while, and in every video he just looks so happy and so thrilled to be doing what he's doing, and his personal attention and kindness and care to his audience is just beautiful, and he's someone I go back to again and again when I need comfort and reassurance in my life. Some of his older videos, his caring friend role plays, which he did do in English, are some of my all-time classic favorites. So PARISASMR. I've also been listening to AbbyASMR a lot. She's one of my favorites. Eliza, ASMREliza, has been posting videos again more frequently, and I love her accent. I love her manner. She brings such a nice, soft, gentle humor and sort of laid-back vibe to her videos. I love it. And I've also been watching a lot of Goodnight Moon lately. I mean, you know, she's just like classic, original ASMR creator of epic proportions. I mean, she is unmatched in her costuming and her characters. I mean, her channel is like cinematic in its scope, and her personal attention is just so wonderful. So I've been watching a lot of her, and of course her fall and autumn videos are just unmatched. So Goodnight Moon is another all-time favorite I've been going back to a lot lately. Okay,